Let's unpack it.
And the first one is the connection between like spirit and mind.
Yes, you want to know about that.
Yeah,
Shall we address that before you continue to the others?
we can address that one first. Yeah.
All right. Spirit is your natural state, a non-physical expression of your existence as a consciousness, or what might be called soul at first. The soul then, in desiring to have what you would call a physical experience, will in a sense create a division within itself. And in that division, there is the non-physical higher mind that remains in spirit to act as a guide for the physical mind that is then created in order to have the physical experience. When the physical mind, which is composed of belief systems that reinforce the validity of physical reality as being real through the idea, the reinforcement through emotions and the idea of thoughts and behaviors and experiences that reinforce the belief system, that is the structure of the physical mind. And as the physical mind has its physical experience, it sort of takes the unfired clay of the soul and starts turning it into the ceramic of the spirit that is specifically representative of that particular personality's experience in physical reality, which is then used by the soul to expand. So soul, higher mind, physical mind, spirit through the experience, back to the soul. Does that make sense?
Well, yes, you're getting there.
All right.
So, for instance,
Yes.
I consider myself always in high spirits.
Well, all right.
Always in high spirits.
Yes.
But not always in correct mind. So I'm trying to
All right. Yes.
sync those two.
Yes. So the
High
idea...
spirits,
Yes, I understand.
correct mind.
I understand. So the idea of the mind not being aligned with the high spirits is due to belief systems that construct the physical mind, and whether or not those belief systems are out of alignment with who you truly are as a spirit or in alignment with who you truly are as a spirit. So the idea is to examine what belief systems you might be holding on to, maybe even unconsciously, that are out of alignment with who you truly are vibrationally. That's the process by which you bring the mind, the physical mind, into alignment with the spirit. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
So fear-based belief systems, negative-based belief systems will always push you out of alignment with your true vibrational spirit. Positive belief systems will bring you back into alignment with the vibration of your spirit. It's as simple as that. So finding out what those belief systems are that are making you out of alignment and letting them go will bring you back into alignment with your high spirits as a mind. Now, the heart receives the vibration, communication directly from the higher mind, and then bounces that communication into the physical mind, but it has to go through the filter of the belief system. So the heart reminds you, in a sense, as a physical reminder of who you really are, and thus gives you an opportunity to examine what belief systems the physical mind may be holding on to in its construction that isn't allowing it to receive that communication as clearly as it could. Yes? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Does that answer your question?
The first question, yeah.
Yes, I know. Does that answer the first question?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And what is your second
And the
question?
second question is how to listen and hear better as a way to sustain a higher synchronicity.
Well, again, we have given you all the formula. You act on your passion every moment that you can on whatever contains the highest amount of excitement more than any other option. You do that to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. And then you look for the next thing that contains more excitement, even just a little bit more attractiveness, more curiosity, more passion than any other option, no matter what it is, no matter how simple it is. And you act on that one next and take it as far as you can until you can take it no further. And you do all these actions with absolutely zero assumption, zero insistence on what the outcome is supposed to be. And no matter what manifests, no matter how it looks, from the actions you take, you remain in a positive state so that you can extract a beneficial effect from whatever it is that manifests. Because whatever it is that manifests, even if it's something that you neutrally and objectively don't prefer, you have to know it's got to be there for a reason that could serve you. And by remaining in a positive state, as you say, remaining in high spirits and not giving over to the definition of the negative idea or the non-preferred idea in a negative way, then you will remain in a state that will allow you to receive the benefit from that thing having manifested. And that simply means what you're doing is using what you don't prefer in a way that you do prefer. And that allows you to sustain that energy because you're making choices that are in alignment with clear definitions of who you are and what you prefer to be. Is that making sense?
Well,
I'll add something to that, but does that make sense for the moment?
yes, because some time ago I heard you talked about that, and
Yes.
I went out and realized that.
Yes.
Do what excites you, and
With
the more you do it, you get more excited.
And you do that with no insistence, no assumption
Right, right.
of what the outcome ought to be, because the truth is, when you're honest with yourself, you understand the truth is you have no clue what the best result actually needs to look like. None. The physical mind is not designed to know how something needs to happen. The higher mind knows how something needs to happen. So it's about letting go of the negative ego assumption that the physical mind is supposed to know exactly what things are supposed to turn out to be. It really has no clue. Sometimes you might coincide in the physical mind with something that manifests that is coming from the higher mind as well. But more often than not, you really have no idea what things are supposed to happen that really do serve you best. So the idea is to let go of any insistence that you do. Now, also, as you say, to maintain that particular state is simply an understanding of how things work and realizing that what we're giving you as this information is not a philosophy. It's actually literally a description of how reality works. It's an instruction manual. So if you just follow the instructions, it will work to your advantage. That's the way it's designed. The idea also is to ask the questions at every moment where you might question yourself, at every moment where you might seem to be out of alignment. You stop and stay in that moment and ask the question in one of two ways. What would I have to believe is true about myself in order to be experiencing what I'm experiencing in my emotions, my thoughts, my behavior, or the overall experience of my life? And if you listen, you will get the answer as to what that belief is. Or, because most of you are so used to dealing with the idea of fear, you can ask the question in another direction. And that is, if I just allowed myself to be who I really prefer to be, what am I afraid might happen? That will usually reveal the negative belief system that then you can work with to let go of. And letting go of it is simply an issue of examining it closely enough to understand that it actually makes no sense anymore to hold on to it. And once something makes no sense, it's gone. If you still hold on to that belief, if you still experience the misalignment, that should be your first clue that there is another belief making that one continue to make sense to hold on to. And as soon as you get down to examining the foundational belief, the negative belief that doesn't work for you, and let that one go, all the secondary negative beliefs will collapse along with it. But sometimes a foundational negative belief will hide under secondary negative beliefs and allow you to think that you have let the foundational one go when all you've done is let a secondary one go. Because all beliefs need to perpetuate themselves in order for you to continue to have a physical reality experience, because physical reality isn't real. They have to convince you that it's real. And the only way a belief can convince you that it's real is convince you that what it's telling you is a fact. But negative beliefs will only tell you negative things about yourself. You have to let go of buying into the idea of what it's telling you. And sometimes, to perpetuate themselves, negative beliefs will hide under other beliefs or make you so afraid to let go of them that you simply won't do it. You have to see through those things as the way the negative belief is simply designed to perpetuate itself. What they're telling you are not facts. They're just a way of keeping you from letting them go. Is this helping?
Yes.
Does that answer the second question sufficiently?
Well, part of the second question was you sort of answered it to the gentleman that came before me.
Yes.
It's about there again. You said that when you're experienced,
Yes.
that's why your mind was able to bring it up. All right, you have a positive experience,
Yes.
like I was talking about listening and hearing.
Yes.
So you had that experience, and I was talking about sustaining that.
What I'm saying is the sustaining is automatically built in. It's not an extra thing you have to do. What we're talking about when we give you the formula is a complete kit. It comes with everything you need, including the idea of sustaining. Because let me put it to you this way. If you're actually acting on your excitement, if you're truly acting on your passion, what other choice would you make that would seem more reasonable? You wouldn't make another choice to do something else. So the very idea of simply continuing to choose to act on your excitement because no other choice seems sensible automatically contains the sustaining. Because you're simply not seeing any other choice as making sense. Right?
Right.
So if no other choice makes sense, you never leave that state, you're automatically sustaining it by no other choice making more sense. It's that simple. Does that answer it?
Yes, thank you.
All right. And the third?
That's it. That's it. Because the answer, the gentleman before me,
All right.
you said something to him that answered the third.
All right. How synchronous of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Remember, it just all comes down to making choices. This is your greatest power, the freedom to choose. So just decide what it is you prefer to choose and keep choosing it. Otherwise, you're saying that something contrary to that makes more sense. Examine the belief that would make you believe that and realize it makes no sense. Just keep choosing what you prefer. Why choose anything else?
Hey, Bashar.
And to you, good.
Question is, I do feel like I am one of the beings that have been put on this earth to assist in the paradigm shift that is occurring on the planet at this time.
One moment, let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
The way you frame that disempowers you. You have decided to be here to participate. You were not put here. Do you understand?
Yes. Oh my God.
You decided to do this.
Yes.
Don't
Oh my
remove
gosh.
yourself from your own self-empowerment and the decisions you have made to be of service at this time.
Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I start to cry. It's just so true.
Oh, there's nothing to apologize for whatsoever. You are releasing through your tears belief systems that no longer work for you. Remember that when you hold on to a belief or have a particular perspective or definition of something that may be out of alignment with you, it creates a constituent within your body that is chemically oriented. And when you let go of that belief, you have to wash the chemical constituent out of your body, which most often happens through the idea of tears. So tears very often are the releasing of the chemical component of beliefs that you're letting go of.
Okay, amazing. So yes, let me already rephrase that. I put myself on the earth at this time to assist with this amazing paradigm shift that is occurring on the earth at this
Yes.
time. And so I want to do this by way of like making videos and putting myself out there and allowing,
If that is your expression of your passion, that is your expression of your passion. Then by all means, act on it, again, with no insistence or assumption of the outcome.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Is there something holding you back from doing that?
There was in the past, actually. So funny you bring this up. My family, they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and They were, and I actually have someone in the household that is still a Jehovah's Witness. So if they were to witness any of this happening, I would
Yeah.
get kicked out of the house. Yeah.
Well, is there something wrong with that?
Getting kicked out. Well, in my egoic mind, it's like, oh my gosh, that can't happen. Where am I going to go? You know, these kinds of things.
Well, I guess you'll find out. I'm not saying you have to share the idea with someone who you know is not vibrationally interested or compatible with your ideas. That's fine. But we would encourage you to pay attention to whether that is actually placing a limitation and a restriction on yourself for being able to do what you know you need to do as you. So don't take responsibility for someone else's reaction. I'm not saying you have to do things intentionally to hurt them, but the idea is that you're not responsible for their choice of reaction to something that is really your truth. And you're also, in some sense, then, shall we say, depriving them or preventing them from actually knowing who you are. So even though they may react in a negative way, you have to decide whether it's appropriate or not to actually be who you are in their presence. And if you find that you're not being who you are out of a fear-based idea, then you're not being who you are anyway.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Well, either way, yes, I do still want to share this. It's going to be out there for them to see. And if they see it, well,
Then they see it.
I'll just have to see. Yeah, I'll just have to see what happens. But
Yes.
my
But whatever
question-
it is that happens, you have to stay in your center to know what is your truth while still allowing them to have what they believe to be their truth. And you don't have to dive into or be engulfed by the idea of conflict, because you know that synchronicity will give you what you need and that you'll be just fine and that you can have compassion toward them, recognizing that they're going through their own process of understanding what is true and not true for them, even though they may be resistant to finding that out, even though they may not have been brought up to understand the tools that they need in order to do that. At least you're giving them the option to choose something else by letting them know there is another path, but they don't have to choose it. Nevertheless, at the same time, you at least get to be you.
Yes,
So put it out there, see what happens.
I will. I definitely will. I definitely feel like this is something I need to do. I have actually I haven't really lived my life for myself. It's really only recently
All
that
right.
I've
Do
discovered
remember this, very important. If you have a gift to give, there is someone waiting to receive it, or you wouldn't be excited about giving it because that would be pointless. So that means the longer you take, not blaming you, it's not a negative, just explaining to you the idea. The longer you take to give those gifts, the longer you make someone waiting to receive them wait. Do you understand?
Yes, let's not. I won't make him wait anymore. I'll definitely
All right.
get him.
All right.
But my question for that was actually like, how do I reach like people with my information? How can I go about helping them change their lives, like with these videos?
No. You go about sharing the information in whatever way you can, putting it out there in whatever way is correct for you. What they choose to do or not do with it is none of your business. Because you don't know how it will affect them. You don't know what they do and don't need to get from you. They will decide whether or not to change their lives. That's not your decision to make. All you can do is provide them the option to change their lives, the opportunity to change their lives in ways that might be more beneficial for them. You have absolutely no business assuming that they have to pay attention to you. You will reach the audience you need to reach. You will not reach the audience you don't need to reach. So why worry about it? Just be yourself and know for a fact that whether you ever know how you're doing it, someone is benefiting from what it is you gave. You may never know who is benefiting or how they're benefiting, but you will be giving them the option instead of depriving them of the option, and just keep doing what you do, knowing that you're benefiting someone. That's all you need to know. Whatever someone does with it is not your business.
I understand. Yes.
All right.
So much yes to that. So much shadow work I probably need to do with this too.
And that's fine, because that's the point also of your journey, is to know yourself, to really dig down and find out what belief systems don't work for you. Remember, there's no absolute right or wrong way. You're an infinite, eternal being. There's no hurry. Just do what it is that seems correct for you at the moment. Learn from whatever happens from the result of those actions or choices, and then decide again whether you want to continue in the same direction or whether you want to change your belief about something. It's up to you. This is the greatest power you all have, the freedom to choose. There's no contradiction coming from creation itself. The idea is that you are given that free will to make a choice so that you can be the unique individual that you really actually are as a reflection of the infinite of all that is.
Yes, I feel like that's been a really big lesson in my life, to be honest. Thank you so much for your time.
You are welcome. Good day.
Likewise.